Adam Taxin here with a theater tip about an enjoyable touring show that I had the opportunity to see a few days ago called Dollar Quartet. It's a touring production of the Broadway show Dollar Quartet, which a couple years ago won a Tony Award and received a few other Tony nominations. The show has been here in Philadelphia this week at the Forest Theater in Center City. It's now Sunday morning, December 16th, and the show will have two more performances here, today at 1 p.m. and also at 6:30 p.m. The show's plot, it's not too hard to follow. It has as its heart a somewhat fortuitous jam session that actually did occur on December 4th, 1956 at the Sun Records studio in Memphis. The jam session involved Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, who, by the way, I dressed as for Halloween, and the not quite as well known today king of rockabilly Carl Perkins, who originally was the one who sang Blue Suede Shoes. They were all at the early stages of their careers then, and at that point they had been all working with the head of Sun Records, a guy named Sam Phillips. Whether they'd be outgrowing Phillips and Sun Records as their careers advanced and they became really big stars, that's a major part of whatever conflict occurs in the show. Conflicts also arise in the show. You got to have conflict. They also arise from minor personality issues between the characters, especially between Carl Perkins and Jerry Lee Lewis. And also there's some conflict in general from the way Perkins is a bit jealous of the other three due to the fact that their careers at the time were very much on the rise, while his had sort of started to stagnate a bit. The principal actors' performances in Dollar Quartet are excellent, and so are the costumes and staging. And with the actors, it really, really does seem like they actually are the characters they're portraying. I'm talking down to the looks and most minor nuances. That was particularly the case for Elvis. I can't remember what's the name of the actor who played Elvis. I didn't know any of them, but his name is Cody Slaughter. He did a particularly good job. As you might expect, the music in this show is great. There are plenty of well-known songs such as Blue Suede Shoes, which I mentioned earlier, 16 Tons, Folsom Prison Blues, a whole lot of shaking going on, Hound Dog, Great Balls of Fire, and plenty of others. The show never really loses its energy, although in that regard, I probably, to be fair, have to note that Dollar Quartet has no intermission and it's not that long a show. It's, of course, easier to retain energy that way. I think we were in and out of there in maybe an hour and 45 minutes. If you are an older audience member, you'll appreciate the memories that the show brings back. If you're relatively younger, you'll, in addition to being entertained, pick up quite a bit of rock and roll history, which is always fun. Anyhow, after Dollar Quartet wraps up here in Philly today, it will be on stage in a number of other cities. I think the order is Washington, D.C., then Hartford, Providence, Schenectady, Hershey, Columbus, Louisville, Cincinnati, Fort Worth, Atlanta, Des Moines, hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, I think it's Des Moines, Memphis, San Antonio, Austin, New Orleans, St. Louis, and Tucson, and that's just through this coming May. And more information for those of you in those parts of the country is available at $1,000,000quartetlive.com. As for here in Philly, the show is part of the 2012-2013 Broadway season, which is presented by the Kimmel Center and the Schubert Organization. The upcoming productions for the 2012 and 2013 season are Jekyll and Hyde, as well as Cirque Eloise's Id, or maybe it's ID, and those are both before the end of 2012, both December 26th through 30th. Later on in the season, there will be Catch Me If You Can, Priscilla Queen of the Desert, The Addams Family, Sister Act, Les Mis, and Green Day's American Idiot. Finally, if you want to buy tickets to either of today's performances in Philly, you can do so at the box office, but you can also get those tickets or anything else in the 2012-2013 Broadway season by going to kimmelcenter.org/Broadway1213.